Hello and welcome back, or welcome for the first time, whatever the case may be, to Language Culture in Dr. Lou. And today I'd like to talk about palindromes and how they can be pretty fun. So, I guess first, what is a palindrome? If a word is a palindrome, it's a word that when you spell it backwards, is the same as when you spell it the right way, forwards. So it's a word or even a phrase that is spelled the same way, both backwards and forwards. So there's a lot of symmetry to the spelling of them. And so but what I find the most fun is the palindromes that are whole sayings, palindromal sayings. So because they end up with some really funny sayings, really peculiar ones when we find ones that are spelled the same way backwards and forwards. But first, before we get into the sayings, let's look at, well, a couple dozen examples of palindrome words, just so we're very, very clear on what's a palindrome. Well, here's three words: bib, bob, and boob. See, these are all kind of fun to say. But yeah, notice the symmetry. B-I-B, B-O-B, B-O-O-B, all identical, whether you do it forwards or backwards. And so, yeah, I want to give you a few more of these, but before we get to the sayings, and those include civic, right? That's very, very symmetrical indeed. Civic. It's kind of fun to say too. Dad, deed, did, or dud. Like that bomb was a dud kind of a deal. Um, those are all perfect palindromes. Eve, whether we're talking somebody's name, Eve, or as in Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, All Hallows Eve, etc. Um, Eve. And I love how pretty that is, looking so symmetrical like that. Kayak. There's a very classic palindrome, kayak. Um, and keek and kook. And by the way, keek means a look or a peek at something. So that's another word for that is a keek. And of course, a kook is someone who's a little kooky. Otherwise, the C word, kook. um, Although we can kook and kooky both are K, but we like not to say crazy. So a kook. And level. I do love how perfectly symmetrical this one is, and that goes very well with the meaning because level means something where no part is higher and no part is lower. It's all level. And so I love how much symmetry there is to that word. And oh yeah, ma'am and madam, which were almost the same. Well, ma'am and madame, otherwise madam, um, which are more or less the same word, just contracted. And then mom, that's a palindrome too. Oh, and murdrome. If you don't know what a murdrome is, it's a murder, but especially specifically when we're talking about a killing in secret, like a hit or something like that. Yeah, that's a murdrome. And pap, peep, pep, poop, and pop are all good palindromes. I find the ones with B's and P's to be so fun to say, like poop, pop, pap, pep. Although a pap is not a fun thing, it is medically good that it exists, but yeah, it is fun to say. And so we've also got radar, refer, rotator, and rotor, all very pretty and very symmetrical too. And succus, you might not know this word. It's from Latin. It means juice. And it's used in medical terminology when we're especially referring to bodily fluid excretion, like excretion of certain bodily fluids. Yeah, succus, and it's yeah, it's used mostly for medical purposes, and it sounds so funny, succus, because it comes from Latin, so that's why the US at the end. And the last two words I have that are palindromes, tenet, which of course is a commonly held belief or idea of a big group of people, and a teret, which is that little ring on the top of a harness pad that the reins go through. But anyway, the point is it's a perfect palindrome. Notice the spelling exactly same front to back and then back to front again. And what I do find a whole lot more fun are ones that are not just words, but palindromes that are whole sayings, because like I said earlier, they make for some really funny sayings, really interesting and weird sayings. And so this one is probably the most classic of them all. A man, a plan, a canal, Panama. Um, and that's probably one of the most widely known entire sentences, well, entire phrases that's a palindrome. But trust me, there are plenty more, and a lot of them are pretty fun too, like a nut or a jar of tuna. Um, which to me doesn't seem like a perfect trade, but whatever, enough for a jar of tuna. And yeah, so if you read it backwards, you still get a nut for a jar of tuna, except the spaces between the words are in different places when you do these phrases backwards, usually, but the letters perfectly symmetrical. And Al lets Della call Ed Stella. That's kind of funny. It's kind of cute, actually. Someone named Della calling her friend Ed Stella. That's yeah, kind of adorable. And so you also have this real, moral dilemma, I guess. If you really need something really bad, but you can't afford it, borrow or rob. um, yeah, I always recommend the borrow part and then earn it uh, by saving up money until you can buy it or go without. But heck, I do like that little phrase, borrow or rob. And it's especially fun knowing that it's a palindrome too. And this one, probably my favorite palindrome saying of them all, taco cat. And people have used this to make a little song, even taco cat, taco cat, taco cat, taco cat, taco cat, taco cat. Anyway, it's kind of fun. I just get funny visual imagery when I'm thinking of taco cat. And so, speaking of kitty cats, was it a car or a cat I saw? To me, that one's kind of funny because how would you not be able to tell if something you saw was a little cat or a huge car? Even a really big cat, I think we should be able to distinguish from a car. But again, um, yeah, again, perfect palindrome. And madam, I'm Eden. Madam, in Eden, I'm Adam. So that's kind of funny. It's very, I guess it's a biblical palindrome that we're talking about, Eden and Adam and all that. And it's funny because I mentioned the word Eve is a palindrome as well, but somehow Eve was not included in this little phrase here. Either way. And so this one reminds me of The Signing, murder for a jar of red rum. Right? Remember that red rum, red rum. Anyway, um, but actually, it reminds me of a lot of horror movies. Come to think of it, but yeah, it's a funny darn saying. Why would somebody commit murder just for a jar of rum? You never know what motivates people. And this one is super gross. Oozy rat in a sanitary zoo. Um, I'm thinking that zoo is not seeming so sanitary anymore. If there's some rat that's oozy, I mean, what the heck is going on with that rat if he's oozy? Anyway, yeah, that's a good one. And this one is sounds like an insult or verbal abuse even. Yo, banana boy, right? Um, that one seems dangerous in the wrong context anyway. But yeah, it's pretty funny that yo banana boy, totally the same thing if you spell it backwards. And this one might be I said, yeah, Taco Cat uh was my favorite, but the thing is, this one is pretty great too. UFO tofu. I guess they're both food sayings too. That might be why I love them, but it's just the imagery I get. Like, what the heck could be so crazy about this tofu that I'm calling it UFO tofu? Who knows? So, thank you so much for sticking around for all uh, those funny sayings, and they're funny because they're palindromes, but they're also funny because of what they mean, pretty much. But yeah, see, that's why I titled this video "Palindromes Can Be Fun." um, Mostly because I find the little sayings that are palindromes to be really fun, and some short words also like boob, bib, bob, or poop, peep, pip, pap, all of those. I find those really fun to say, but especially the expressions have fun meanings, and so yeah, that's unique. And trust me, I didn't cover all of them. English has dozens and dozens more, so if people do like this video, maybe I will make a sequel to it. So until then, thank you so much for watching this video. Please do give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, I would really appreciate that so much. And yeah, so I will be coming back to you with another video pretty soon. And until then, catch you around next time. Bye bye.